Welcome to Counterpoint Episode 3. I am your host, Casey Kennedy, and joining me today is Plymouth Police Department Chief Dana Flynn and Lieutenant Marc Higgins. Thank you both for joining me today.
Well, thanks for having us.
Thank you for having us.
So exciting. We've kind of seen a little bit on social media and on the website that the police department has a new body-worn camera program.
That's right.
Yeah. So kind of from what I've seen and heard, the goal of the program for the department, it's going to ensure that audio-visual recordings provide, a true and accurate depiction of events and, give the best possible evidence and documentation moving forward. Are you guys excited about this? It's been
Absolutely. And not only that, it also protects our officers from false allegations of misconduct. It also lends to our goal of accountability and transparency to the community. And hopefully, as we move along with the program and get more comfortable with it, we'll be able to share some of our videos to give out the residents a better insight of what we do on the day-to-day basis.
Oh, that's awesome. So you will be sharing some of those videos.
Yeah, if they're appropriate, yeah.
Okay, wonderful. And so the program, I know the cameras were delivered and you guys have been in the process of training, but the actual going live is this Monday, February 24th at 7:30 in the morning?
Correct, with the onset of the what we refer to as a day shift, yeah.
Okay, so if the community has kind of seen some of the officers maybe wearing the cameras, that's just so they're getting used to having them on. They're not recording till you go live on the 24th.
Right. So it gives the officers a week long familiarization period where they can get used to wearing them on duty. We have some processes when they come and leave the station, when to turn them on, turn them off, make sure number one that they have them with them. Yeah. So we just didn't want to put them out there, say, here you go and have at it. We just want to make sure that they're comfortable, just like any other piece of equipment that we issue. We want to make sure they're comfortable with it before they actually go into use. And, we do have processes and policies in place, and we want to make sure that they're appropriately using the equipment so we don't have to take any type of action against the officer for misuse.
Yeah, no, completely understandable. And Lieutenant Higgins, you are the training division head for the new body-worn camera program. How has training been? I know we had, so the camera itself, the model, the company is Axon. So we had the Axon trainer, Matt Johnson, up from Louisiana. How was that the last few weeks?
So it was great. Matt came up, like I said, from Louisiana. He was a huge help. The way he teaches, the way he's able to kind of present this product to the officers was very helpful. He did a great job.
Yeah, I was able to come in and, you and I were able to put a little teaser video together. So kind of I know there was a process. It was a few-year process, Chief. You've been Chief for several years now, and I know this was...
Since 2021, yeah.
Yep, and I know this was a huge goal of yours because
they're... my number one goal when I first became Chief. But there's a process. The biggest, one of the biggest hurdles is funding. Number two, getting buy-in from the men and women of the department, which was a big piece. And here we are today. It's very excited for it to be here.
Yeah, and that kind of opens the door for my next question. So, like, part of this podcast, disseminating, countering misinformation. So one of the things I've been seeing online is a lot of residents, people in the community are under the idea that these are requirements by the state or even the federal government, and that's not true.
No, that is not true. It's highly suggested nowadays. There was a commission or a study put together within the past few years. The state did put one together about mandating them. But I think the costs associated with it kind of put that to a halt. There are grants out there to assist departments that want to start body-worn programs, but there are certain limitations and requirements to obtain that money. It's more of it's highly suggested now that you
Yeah.
have more than a mandate just because of the funding portion of it.
It's not just cameras that you're implementing. There's a whole cloud aspect. It's a piece of technology, and there's a lot of integration in the back end of things. Once the officer comes back, the video has to live somewhere. So it's training on that portion, and it's also a lot of the cost for the program itself is the cloud storage.
Right. So that's the biggest cost of this. The cameras in themselves. Well, first of all, these cameras are not like pulling out your cell phone and taking a video and that's it, and you save it onto the phone. There's a lot to this, and which I'll let Lieutenant Higgins talk to in a minute. But the biggest expense to this program is the storage of the video. We have to keep the video recordings pursuant to the public records laws. The cameras are pretty much constantly running, not always recording, but they're always running. So it takes up a huge amount of storage. So to address that, we did opt into the cloud program through Axon. There is an expense to that, but we found that it'll be more beneficial to us to go that route rather than to have a room full of servers that we would have to maintain and operate.
Yeah, no, completely understandable. So Lieutenant Higgins, can you kind of explain the technology aspect, the training portion of that as well?
Sure. So let's go into the training portion of it, and then maybe we'll digress into the technology. So the training portion of it, each officer participate in approximately about an hour and a half worth of a familiarization training. So that is learning the basics of how the camera is to operate, turning the camera on, turning the camera off, how you would upload the video footage after a call, in addition to the different features where supervisors are able to see where these officers are on a call, and they're able to give a real-time view when the officer is recording recording on the scene. It gives the supervisor ability to see where the officers are. And I think a great example that I've used during the training was if we're looking for a missing person. The supervisor is able to see where each officer is in relation to, say, the call, and if they need to reallocate that officer to a different location, instead of asking where they are over the radio, they already know where they are real time, and they're able to move them through there. So that's some of the little features that kind of come with it. There is a more in-depth portion of it that the officers are also going through. It's probably another hour along with just time of using the product, but it's a evidence.com. So that is where, when the officer is done with, say, for instance, a service call, and he's back at the station, he uploads that footage and it gets attached to, say, their police report, for simple terms. And what they'll do is they will be able to take that footage, attach it to it, and ensure that what happened on that call is an accurate depiction of what is put in their police report. Now, the officers, I think the best way I've been teaching this to the guys is, if you're performing a police function, the body camera will be on. If you're not performing a police function, you're driving around in the cruiser patrolling your sectors or your areas, it's not going to be actively running. It's going to be ready to go, but not actively running.
Okay, that's interesting, because I know people were questioning that of when is it going to be on? What is going to be recorded? So I think that's interesting, and a good point to note that if it's like an actual police call, that's when it will be, and not just they're sitting in their cruisers.
Yes, it's not live TV where everywhere the officer's going is recording. It's when if you call for a police officer and they come to your house or they meet you at a parking lot somewhere, anticipate that officer is going to be recording that interaction in its entirety.
Makes sense, 100%. Awesome. So I know one of the concerns that I've seen a lot on social media is the assumption that the officers are getting a pay increase for wearing these cameras. And I want to just kind of go over that that's not true, that might have been taken out of context slightly. In a sense, that this is, just from what you explained to me, this isn't just, oh, I'm putting the camera on my chest and turning a button on and that's it. There's training, familiarization, and then after incident reports as well. When you're doing the report itself after, the call, it increases a whole new layer of their workload. So, kind of, can you explain where people might be
Sure.
misunderstanding the whole cost aspect?
So by right, the union had a right to sit down and discuss this change in working conditions. By law, they're allowed to do that. To them, or to them, it is a change in work conditions. Another piece of equipment they are responsible for. Not a cheap piece of equipment. It is another policy that they are required to adhere to that could result in discipline if they do not adhere to. So, as part of the last bargaining session, the last collective total bargaining agreement a year or so ago, they agreed for the implementation of this program that, or the town agreed to give all the union employees an extra benefit day at a personal day. So they're not getting a monetary compensation for this. They just get an added personal day because it is a change. As I said, responsible for the equipment, they are now subject to the policy that could result in discipline if it's not adhered to. I think where a lot of the confusion is where it's written in the actual contract, where anybody can pull up on the Town of Plymouth's website and under Human Resources, is when we added it to the contract, we took some smaller previous stipends and lumped them together under what they call professional standards. Okay. So you'll see professional standards talks about CPR, first aid, defibrillators, post certifications and such. Changes in we're getting some new computer software to do some additional officer tracking. So we lumped it all into that one category. So in the future, if there are any changes or technological advances to the cameras, we don't have to address the issue again. The body camera issue has been addressed, and we do not have to negotiate.
So it's included under that stipend
Yes.
that already existed. So it's not
Correct.
like you invented
No.
a stipend just for the body cameras. All the officers really
It
received
had-
was an extra day.
The language regarding the body cameras had to go somewhere in the contract so we could show that it was already addressed, essentially. And, not from, just as an aside here, Lieutenant Higgins, not only the division head, the training division head, he's also the union president of the Superiors Union. So
you very ingrained in this. You understand.
Yes, I got a front row seat to implementing this, and just to kind of piggyback off what the chief said, that the body camera portion of it, look at it as being an umbrella under the professional standards. So this is what we need to do to maintain our certification as police officers, whether it is the MPTC training that we must do 40 hours a year to include 16 additional hours of firearms training, and whatever else that should be in place to ensure that we are good police officers and effectively patrolling our communities at the highest level. There needs to be a place for the body cameras to be listed, like the chief said. So it was placed underneath the professional standard stipend, where the body got a 1 day off.
So, and the stipend already existed, right? So it's not like they're getting it specifically for this. So, because from what I've seen, on social media, the misinformation going out is that those numbers that were highlighted, they're getting like a bonus, and that's just not true.
not true. It's unfortunate it came down to that. So we do have a local media outlet in town that asked to do a story on this, and I responded back to their questions. Look, let us present our program. And truth be told, it's a program that myself and my staff have been working on for 3 years now. Kind of proud of it. I think it's a great success story, if you would. And I thought that we should have the honor of rolling it out.
No, 100%. I think that's
so
common practice.
It's unfortunate that the media came out with their story instead of allowing us to present it, then having conversation with them afterwards to, answer any questions they had or concerns they had. Now we have this uproar unnecessarily.
You were going to speak to them, like,
I advised them,
afterwards. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So, because
not weeks, as it's been alleged. Yeah. I had all intentions of speaking with them, but they couldn't wait. And some of the comments from their posting has adversely affected my officers, because they know the truth, and they don't like what they see in the comments because they know it's not true, and they feel it's a reflection on the entire community, but it's not. It's just a few naysayers out there.
Yeah, because this is a great program, and you as a department, as the police department, have been working so hard for this, like you said, for 3 years now, and it should be common practice that the department working on such a program or project should be the one to promote it and launch it, and then discuss it with the media and the press. And that's what you were planning on doing, and that's why we did the little teaser, and then we did the highlight video, and then we even put out a press release. So the goal is for your department to take ownership of this program and promote it as well. So it's unfortunate that there's misinformation out there that we now have to kind of counter, but I'm glad, we're able to have the opportunity to do so, that the officers should be proud of this program. It shouldn't, there shouldn't be a shadow over it because of certain individuals thinking, well, why are they getting paid to do something that should already be a part of their job? That's not the case.
And the stipend, if you will, is not an uncommon practice in any police agency. There are many agencies when these camera programs coming out got significant increases in salaries, and our personnel were satisfied with an extra day off.
To kind of piggyback off the chief.
Kudos to them. They understood. I'm sorry, Marc. They understood the importance of it and the benefit of the cameras. And
like I was saying, is that to piggyback off the chief, police officers in the 70s and 80s, you were given a gun, a badge, handcuffs, and a radio. If you take a police officer from the 70s and put them next to a police officer in today's world, 2025, they will look like, it'll be like a sci-fi movie. They have all this brand new equipment, all this latest technology, all these things to work better with the community, de-escalate instead of just, doing the old, billy club tactic back in the days. These officers are utilizing tools that are, it's I think, great for the community. And that's where, like the chief just said, the officers are going into this constantly being given new equipment and trained up, and for their ability to adapt and overcome just, the way of doing stuff and realizing, oh, this is new. This is what we have to do. Okay. The guys were great. The guys were, I give them my full support. I'm very proud of them. They're doing a great job adapting to something that's new. And it might be not new to other agencies, and that's okay. But it's new to the Plymouth Police. And it took a little bit of time. We worked through the kinks. We came together, and now we have the tool that we're right with, a lot of other communities that are doing this. And the officers are doing a great job adapting and being proud of who they are as Plymouth police officers.
Yeah, as they should be. And as you mentioned, we're not the first to implement this program, but we're surely not the last. And, nationwide, and even in the state, I believe there's about 30% of Plymouth County alone that still hasn't, enacted a body-worn camera program.
There's bordering communities of Plymouth that still do not have body cameras.
Yep. So again, we're not behind the ball by any means. We're joining in, and everyone in the police department should be proud. And do you gentlemen have anything else you want to, have the community know about this initiative?
The body cameras, the footage, a lot of we hear from the public, we hear from family and friends about, the cameras. Are we only going to see it like when it's at court? No, there's going to be times where we're going to put out great videos. I mean, there might be some that are not in the police favor. There are going to be some that are going to be in the police favor, or there's going to be some that's just a feel good story where the officer did a great job and we feel that they should be recognized for it. So yes, the public will see footage that we feel that is appropriate to disseminate at a social media capacity, and we'll make sure it gets out there, and
So that will be on the Plymouth Police Department's Facebook?
The Facebook page, and as well as the Instagram page.
Okay, awesome. And then, on the town side, I can share that as well and, get
That'd be helpful.
Info out there.
I just want to clarify, the purpose of the body cams is not for entertainment purposes, okay?
No.
These are a tool. A majority of the use would be for, criminal cases, prosecutions, and whatnot. So, the dissemination of the videos and will fall under the public records laws as they are. Requests have to be made and follow the steps. However, as Lieutenant said, if there are something of interest, we see them every day on the news. officers, rescuing people from burning buildings or a person in distress. So, those we would put out on our own video medias. However, these are a tool to help us do our job on the day to day.
And I'm glad you mentioned that, because I think one thing to highlight too is that similar, like before body cameras, if there's an active investigation, say, a car chase or, something a little bit heavier, we're not just gonna be able to promote the video. And even if, certain individuals, because it is public record, ask for it, there's going to probably be redactions because it is an active investigation. You don't want to hinder that.
And we don't want to embarrass anybody.
Mhm.
We're not looking to highlight any. So we do have policies in place.
Yeah.
I just want people to understand that these are not here. They're not, they're not here for entertainment.
Yeah, which is totally understandable.
If Marc, you just want to give your contact information, our media contact information, if anybody has any questions regarding the cameras, we'll answer any questions people have that we can answer.
We have an email set up. It's mediarelations@plymouthpolice.com. And any questions you may have, you forward it to that email address.
Awesome. And then also, your website and social media channels. I'm sure people can reach out and get some information that way as well. So I want to thank you both, Police Chief Flynn and Lieutenant Higgins. It was great talking with you. I'm excited for this project to go live on the 24th.
Thanks, Casey.
Thanks for having us.